Olivia Perez, and we're at the Boulder Public Library for the Boulder International Film Festival. Right now we're about to be going into the Filmmakers Panel, but I've got...
My name is Jeff Orlowski.
And Paula DuPre Pesmen.
And they're the director, producer for Chasing Ice, a documentary about the disappearance of glaciers. So tell me about the title, Chasing Ice.
The title evolved. We didn't have a title for quite a while, and it was originally called The Photographer. And then James's daughter has a really powerful line in the film where she talks about seeing her father chasing something. And I think that inspired it. Wasn't it kind of how it began? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the idea that this guy was obsessing over the story and just going out trip after trip, going to Iceland, going to Alaska, trying to capture the story of climate change, and he was chasing the story, and he was chasing ice in the process. And I think our writer Mark kind of just put the two words together, and it was like, oh, of course, it's obvious. Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be screening twice. One for today, which is for students, so a younger crowd, and then we'll be ending with the film as well. How do you feel like, or what do you feel the difference between the views of young people and older people? How do you see that change, or how do you feel young people react to this issue as opposed to people in older generations?
I feel like a large part of what we're trying to do with the film in terms of the outreach is an educational component to it. We want to take the film to as many schools and as many students as possible. We want it to be used as a tool for people to increase awareness and education around climate change. So we're thrilled to do the screening with the high school students today. And I think based on the experience so far, the high school students that we screened it for have really engaged with the film. I mean, all the audiences have been really, really positive, and the response has been overwhelming so far. So I don't know, I think it's been exciting, the whole process.
Yeah, in both, we did a screening for students in Salt Lake City with 350 students, and I was like in tears. I had tears in my eyes when Jeff was talking to the students, and he said, how many of you has this film changed your opinion on climate change? And like 80% of their hands came up, and it was moving, and they were anxious to show it to somebody else. So I think that they connected really well to the film, and we've had similar response with adults, wouldn't you say? Yeah.
I think it's also interesting because high school students now, for the most part, they've grown up in a world where climate change has always been talked about their whole lives, and it's something that they've heard discussed, but they don't really see, and they don't really know what it means and what kind of implications it has on their own life. And so we hope that the film kind of accomplishes that to some degree. It kind of takes the story of the Arctic and brings it into their high school.
The film has been sort of prized for its beautiful imagery. How important do you feel like expressing the beauty of these places is also to getting the message out there?
For me, these are just some of the most beautiful landscapes on the planet, and it's heartbreaking to see them disappearing. And I think these guys did just an amazing job, and through James's images, of just showing us what a precious resource we're losing.
Yeah, I think that James's perspective was one of there are many different ways he could have photographed climate change. He could have photographed coal. He could have photographed, the dirty side of climate change. But he instead tried to make something that was emotionally impactful and resonant. And when you watch it, you fall in love with these landscapes, and you recognize that they are changing because of us. I think that's kind of what he was going for.
Well, I'm really, really excited to see it. Thank you so much for talking to us.